Okay. All right. So I started record. Oh, again, I uploaded. Okay, I have uploaded all the videos. Okay, our videos on the YouTube channel, my YouTube channels. So I know some of you have some scheduling issues. So you miss something, then you can find the videos. Then you can check it out what you miss, and you can make it up. Okay, all right. So if you any problem with this, just let me know. Okay, I can help you. All right, let's talk about new topics today. Okay? All right, so we have almost everyone. Yes, great. Okay, so I just want to make sure before starting, everyone is okay with your video, audio, whatever. Okay, so you are ready to start. Please say yes. All right, good. Great. So let's talk about new topics. Well, in this semester, we had several asynchronous classes. So that's why we miss some timing issues. Sometimes to talk about these topics. Actually, today's topic is the most important topics. Okay, in strategic management framework. So we're gonna talk about that. Okay? So I just want to remind you that the last time we talked about what? Okay, chapter 1 and 2 is all about strategy management, long-term plan to achieve competitive advantage. Chapter 3 and 4, we talked about chapter 3 and 4 in the last time. External, internal analysis, right? External analysis we cannot control. Okay? Internal analysis we can control. Okay? So both environments are very important to determine your performance, right? So we talked about these topics already. Why we care about external, internal environments? Because we care about our performance, right? So competitive advantage. I want to do better than others. I want to have competitive advantage. That's why we care about external, internal environments, right? That's why we talk about external, internal environments so far. This time, we're gonna talk about performance, competitive advantage. So performance, think about that, performance, okay? It's a simple word, performance. We use this word a lot, but how do you define this performance? Okay? There are many dimensions of this performance. Okay, so we want to see what dimensions of this performance. Okay, we need to know, okay? And also to increase this performance. What are you gonna do? Okay, so that is a strategy, right? So that is business level strategy. How to compete. Okay, so we are going to talk about 3 levels of strategy. Okay, departmental level or functional level. Okay, so it's all about efficiency. All right, efficiency. And business level strategy is how to compete. A business single unit. How to compete. And corporation level strategy is where to compete. Okay, so multiple business units under the single umbrella of the corporation. So how to balance this? This is corporate level strategy, business level strategy, and functional level strategy. So we are going to talk about these 3 levels of strategy. Today, we focus on the most important level, business level strategy, how to compete. Okay, so performance and business level strategy. If you understand this, you are much better ready to do actually your simulations. Okay? That's why I just feel like I'm a little bit behind, okay, in this semester. Okay? But it's all right. based on your performance, you are doing okay. So, all right, let's talk about that. So today, compatibility, performance, and business level strategy. All right, 2 topics. Okay. Okay. So, some announcements. Okay. I just checked out all your numbers so fast, and I just want to say thank you so much. Okay, you had a great discussion so far, and keep up the good work. Right. So at the middle point of this semester, I just evaluate. Okay, what's going on? How's going on this semester? Okay, then it's perfect. It's good. Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, because we meet once a week, so I just want to make sure you have the base solely schedule in this. So next time, today, we are going to talk about performance and business level strategy, chapter 5 and 6. And then next week, we're going to do simulation round 1. Okay? Simulation round 1. Okay, so this is a regular competition round. All the records, all the data just reset. Then we start it again. All right, start it again. This is asynchronous class. Okay, asynchronous class. But if you need any help, all right, question, comments, I'm gonna open the this video conference. So it's totally up to you. You have your own meetings with your team, but if you need a help, just you want to talk with me, just stop by. Okay. All right, then the following time is we are continue chapter 8 and 9, corporate level strategy and some other topics. Then these will be the last topics of the textbook. All right, this will be the last topics of the textbook. Okay, this is a synchronous course. Then we do exam, the first exam, actually the only exam, not first exam, only exam and presentation 1. Okay, then we are focus on the simulations. That's it. Then this semester is done. Okay. So I just want to give you some picture of your schedule. Okay. Any question, comments? So no question, right? So let's move. All right, this is the distribution of your one keys. Okay, so your average is a 7.71 out of 9. It's good. It's great. Okay, I don't have any problem with this. Standard deviation is 1.27. Great. Okay, narrow, and the distribution is also looks great. I just want this shape. Okay, it's a perfect shape I'm looking for. So I don't have a problem. Keep up the good work. Okay, so all right. Let's talk about performance and business level strategy. Okay, let's start with one case, and your one case is available right now, and I'm gonna give you 10 minutes as we did. So this is a 6:11. So 6:21. Okay, please go ahead. Go to Canvas and take the chapter 5 and 6 one keys. Then we will discuss as a whole group. Please go ahead, go to Canvas, take away my keys. I'm going to mute my microphone for your keys. right, some students are done. That's good. Okay, that is done, that is done. Okay. All right, so if you need any more time, please let me know. I need more time. I just want to say about time. Okay. All right, so you can keep it. You can keep, doing this. Okay. So most of the skills done. So I'm gonna start the discussions. Okay. All right. So today, performance and business level strategy. All right, performance and business level strategy. Okay, 2 topics. Okay. Number 1, let's talk about the performance. An important question to ask when looking at differences in a firm performance and competitive advantage is how to best measure these differences. True or false? It's very true, right? It's very true. Because our ultimate goal is performance. So how to measure this one is very, very important. Okay? So if we cannot measure performance, we cannot have a strategy. Okay? So it is pretty obvious. It is pretty obvious. Okay? The measuring of the performance is important. But the next natural question is how? Right? How to measure the performance? How to measure competitive advantage? Okay, how to measure it? Anyone? How to measure competitive advantage? So we talked about competitive advantage a lot. Huh? So our goal is obtaining competitive advantage, sustainable competitive advantage. How to measure it, competitive advantage? Anyone? So what are you going to do to measure competitive advantage?
Look at profitability.
Profitability. So if you have more profits, your competitive advantage is high. Okay. So profitability is a good measure. Good measure. Okay. All right. Anything else? So profitability is about the what? Accounting things, right? Accounting financial things. From the record. You calculate the profits. Okay. So it is from the record. Okay. So it's a one dimension of accounting, one dimension of competitive advantage. Good, Ryan. And anything else? You can look at financials and cash flows. Yes, cash flows too. So it is also accounting profitability too. Okay. Financials, yes. Probably you are meaning with the accounting profitability too, Carson. Okay, Ryan, Carson, thank you. And anything else? So if you just have a better profits, it's totally fine. What else?
Shareholder value.
Shareholder value. Little more specifically, please tell us. Okay, Ryan, little more specific. What is the shareholder value?
Like the total return to shareholder.
All right, shareholders. So stock market.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So accounting profitability is important also. The return in the stock market is so important because it determines the shareholder value, the owner of the corporations. Okay. So accounting things, stock market, anything else? Customer value, yes, customer value. It can be a very, very important measure, right? Customers, how they feel the value you create. Okay, so if your customer feel you create higher value, greater value, then you have greater competitive advantage. It makes sense. All right. So this is involved with economic value creation approach. Okay. All right. So look at this. Look at this. From our simple discussions, very brief discussions, we have multiple dimensions of the performance. Okay, multiple dimensions of the performance. Which one is the best? There's no answer like that. Okay, just multiple dimensions. So we are not look at what dimensions of performance it is, and then we are just try to better approach to measure competitive advantage. Okay, so we want to do that. Okay, this is all about chapter 5. Chapter 5. Okay, so we want to talk about one by one. All right, number 2. So we already talked about this. Okay, so performance, economic value creation, and accounting profitability and shareholder value creations. When measuring competitive advantage under the economic value creation approach, okay, customers, okay, willingness to pay and price. Okay, it can be easy to determine what the consumer's maximum willingness to pay will be. True or false? It's false, isn't it, right? Okay, so it is not easy to measure this. Okay, because it's a psychological thing and it is not easy to generalize it. Okay, a person, people have their own, their preferences, something like that. So it's not easy. There is a problem. All right, that is a problem of this approach. Okay. Okay. All right. Then number 3, the accounting profitability approach to measuring competitive advantage relies on data that is backward looking. True or false? True or false? Yes, it's true. It's true. It's all about record. Okay, accounting profitability is all about the past. We already done this. Okay, then record it. Okay? So this measure doesn't have any future forward looking. It's a problem. So economic value creation is not easy to measure and generalize it, and accounting profitability is just going back, backwards, no future. Okay, it's a problem. Okay? Number 4, the macroeconomic factors such as unemployment levels can influence the stock price and make it difficult to measure a firm's competitive advantage under the shareholder value creation framework. True or false? Yes, it's true. It's true. Okay. So think about the shareholder value creations, stock market. Okay? There are so many factors that impact the shareholder value, all right, stock market. So it's not easy to actually guess is the value of these corporations. Okay, it's also very volatile, right? So for example, Tesla, all right, the stock price very high in some days. Okay, after a few days, the value of Tesla, just declined drastically. Do you think is it really true? Is it really make sense? Does it make sense to firm value just dropped 30%, 40% a day and increased the firm value about 50% a day? It doesn't make sense at all. Okay? But it happens in the stock market. So that's why stock market is not perfect. Okay. That's why we say, the stock market is just one of the performance we can measure. Okay? All right. So we talked about economic value creation approach to measure performance. This is the difference between price and the consumer's maximum willingness to pay. Okay? But this is not easy. This is not easy, okay, to measure and generalize it. Okay, it's a problem. Account profitability, okay, profits, net income, something like that. Okay, it's good, but it's always looking back the past things. So we cannot consider any future things, and also we cannot consider off-record things like technology. Okay, it's a problem. And shareholder value creation framework. Okay, stock market is not perfect and volatile, and there are so many factors that impact the value of the corporations. So it is a problem. Okay? So look at this. These beautiful approaches have its pros and cons. In some dimensions, it's useful, but some dimensions it's not. Okay. So based on these limitations, okay. So strategies say, hey guys, okay. Look at this. Our ultimate goal is improving our performance, but it is very hard to measure performance. Okay. So that's why we suggest this. This is a balanced scorecard. Okay. Balanced scorecard will approach in multiple ways, from the multiple ways, okay? Multiple points, like consumers, okay? Customers, markets, internal things, technology things, okay? Something like that. Okay. Then we will evaluate, okay, each dimensions of performance. Then we will apply this into a strategy. Okay. Then should they try it? Okay. But it is useful, but it still has a problem too. Okay. So we will talk about that. Okay. Balanced scorecard. Okay. So number 5. Balanced scorecard approach to assessing competitive advantage is useful because it identifies area for improvements and positions the company for future growth. Yes, this is true. This is one of advantage of balanced scorecard. Okay. Balanced scorecard is, simply speaking, it's like something like a set of questions, okay, in multiple areas. For example, if a company, your corporation, your organization is very important about customers, then you can make some questions about your customers. Okay, then let people answer. Then you have average scores. Then you have, okay, so customers, this one is important, something like that. Okay, you understand this? Huh? All right, this is balanced scorecard. We only use balanced scorecard in your simulation too. Okay. All right. So we talked about multiple dimensions of performance. Okay. Then number 6. It's about business level strategy. So 3 levels of strategy we talked about already, right? So functional level, something like your departments, R&D, HR, marketing, something like that. Okay, it's all about efficiency. Okay? And business level strategy is a single business unit. How to compete. Okay. Corporation level, multiple business unit. Corporations, multiple business units. Where to compete, how to balance these multiple business units. 3 levels of strategy. We focus on business level strategy today. Okay? All right, a firm's business level strategy answers the question, where should we compete? This is a corporate level strategy. All right? So business level strategy is how to compete. Okay? All right, number 7. When pursuing a differentiation strategy. Okay, good. So differentiation strategy and cost leadership strategy. Okay, 2 generic strategies. Okay. So again, the generic strategies: reduce cost leadership strategy, increase product differentiation strategy. If you reduce cost, increase product differentiations, then you have competitive advantage. So, differentiation strategy. Okay? The focus of competition is to add unique features good in order to create a level of value creation that competitors cannot easily imitate. Yes, it's very true. This is a definition of differentiation strategy. You focus on your product. Okay? Better product. Okay? So this is a differentiation strategy. Number 8, when pursuing a cost leadership strategy, reduce cost, okay? Not just product itself. The focus of competition is on cost parity while offering acceptable value. True or false? It's false, all right? Lower cost, not cost parity. Okay? So if your cost is lower than others, then you have competitive advantage because, okay? Think about that. Cost, product differentiation. If you have lower cost, this gap increase. This gap is enlarged. Okay? Then you have competitive advantage. Okay? So these two generic strategies actually based on the concepts from the economic value creation approach. All right? Economic value creation approach. So, and these two topics, two chapters, okay? The multiple dimensions of performance. The first topic and second topic is business level strategy, how to compete. Okay, cost leadership strategy, product differentiation strategy. That's it. Okay, very simple topics, but very important topics, and that's strategy management. All right, great. Any question, comments? Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Please. I need this. Okay, so we already covered most important things in this chapter. Economic value creations, we talked about that. Accounting profitability, shareholder balance scorecard. Okay, and some other topics, very simple topics. Okay? We are here. Competitive advantage, performance. We're talking about performance first. Then we ought to move business level strategy. All right, performance and business level strategy. Okay, so it is important. It is pretty good, to have the what is that? Our conceptual map, our topics in strategy management. Okay, so don't confuse it. We are talking about performance with this chapter. All right, so yeah, let's talk about this. So today's class activity is Apple and Microsoft. It's a little bit out of date, but this case is still good. Okay? Apple and Microsoft. So we're gonna talk about the performance. Okay? All right. So you are gonna talk about this case. Okay? The chapter case. Yes. Let's talk about this as a whole. Group as a one story. So I don't have a problem with this. Okay. So I'm gonna create. Okay, so you want to discuss this case. You already submitted this case. Okay? So I'm gonna create your breakout rooms, and you're gonna discuss this case with your classmates. Okay? I'm gonna 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes. This case is very straightforward and simple. So 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes. You can briefly share. Your perspective with your teammates. Okay, now your breakout rooms are available. Please, get together. All right, join with your team and talk about this case.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Okay. Okay, good, good. So welcome back. Okay. So it's an interesting case, right? Apple versus Microsoft. Okay. So let's talk about that briefly, right? Let's talk about that briefly. So what is the case about? What is the case about? Anyone can start it. So anyone share what is the case about? Okay, Carson, please tell us. Okay, please start. What is the case about?
Well, Dr. Kang, I was on Carson's team. She must have been delayed by the dog there, but the case was about, it starts with an evaluation of Microsoft and Apple in their current state, and then talks about the strategic shift that the new CEO makes from hardware-based to cloud-based computing.
All right, great, great. So the evaluation of the performance and also strategic shift, okay? So to the crowding service, okay? It's a big shift, right? From the hard drive to crowding service. It's a totally new, the paradigm, okay? Carson need charge. Okay, so Apple and Microsoft. So why is it so hard to gain a competitive advantage? Why is it even harder to sustain a competitive advantage? Why is it hard, competitive advantage? It's a big question, actually. Any team?
It can be hard in this kind of market because it's so quickly advancing. So you have to stay on top of your game and come out with revolutionary products or services all the time.
Exactly, Evan. Evan, great. Okay, so market. So think about the market. Market is dynamic, right? Market is dynamic. So because the market is dynamic, okay, all the funds strategy is also dynamic. So everything is dynamic in this environment. So it is not easy to sustain competitive advantage. Okay. So for example, in this case, Microsoft, their strategy is dynamic. The technology is dynamic. So competitive advantage is sometimes you can achieve it, but it's not easy to sustain it. Okay. All right. So there are many factors that impact competitive advantage. We talk about that external and internal environments. External and internal environments with this. Okay. Any other points? Anything else?
In my group, we talked about how some of the differences between these big major leaders in the industry are very tiny between one another. And so, like Evan suggested, to be able to stand out and like be different, they have to really create something that kind of blows the other ones out of the water. And with such small differences, it's really hard to create that in a way that others can't.
All right. It's a product differentiation strategy. All right. So Carson mentioned about product differentiation strategy. So what features? Okay. If you have very similar products, okay, in the market, then how to gain competitive advantage? No way. Okay? So better products, okay? Better feature of products. This is you develop better feature of products, then you create competitive advantage. This is product differentiation strategy. Okay. Also, you can think about cost leadership strategy. Very similar products, similar product features, but you have a lower cost, then your price is lower, then you have competitive advantage. This is a cost leadership strategy. We talked about that. For the cost leadership strategy, we talked about the economies of scale to reduce fixed costs and variable costs, and experience curve, something like that. Okay. So even in this simple case, it contains the discussions of two generic strategies. Okay. All right. Any other points?
I was going to say, in this market specifically, they use a lot of the same manufacturers for some of their parts. So you'll get like i9 chips in a lot of the computers. And so it would be difficult to lower costs or to be a cost leader in this industry.
Okay. All right. It makes sense too. It's not easy to find a way to achieve these two generic strategies. For example, reduce cost is not always easy, right? That's why people is always looking for the ways to reduce cost by some techniques, like some trends. We talked about that internet globalization, right? So out of the box, why IBMs and why Apple and they produce their products in in other countries, not in the US, huh? Because they want to reduce costs. They want to reduce costs. Huh? Okay, good. Yeah, very good. Okay. So it seems that you definitely understand this, the story and the mechanisms. Okay. Any other points? Very good discussions. Good discussions. All right, let's talk about the number 2. Looking at the different ways to assess competitive advantage discussed in this chapter, does Apple have a competitive advantage of Microsoft using any of our approaches? Why or why not? Okay, let's talk about that. Any ideas? Any discussions about number 2? So different dimensions of performance.
I can jump in. Our group, just to answer the first part of this question, our group talked about the reputation of Apple when they first came in. We talked about the first commercials, I don't know, about 10, 15 years ago, where it was like, hi, I'm a Mac, I'm a PC, and they differentiated themselves as a cool brand, kind of like the previous case about the Beats. And so they were able to appeal to the younger and more creative market to create customer perceived value, and that helped set them apart.
All right, so reputation is about product, right? It's about product. So product differentiation strategy. Okay. So competitive advantage can come from these special, unique features of product. The what is that? The reputations. Okay. So marketing side can be a source of competitive advantage too. All right. Good. Okay. Any other point? Any other discussions? All right, okay. It's very straightforward case, okay? So the your points make sense, right? Makes sense. Okay. So probably number 3 and 4, we don't have enough information to talk about this in detail. Okay. So let's skip number 3 and 4. Okay. So from this case, our discussions are very simple, right? Very simple. Okay. The performance can be multiple dimensions. It's not static. Performance is not static. It's dynamic because external, internal environments are changing. Okay? External environments are changing, and firms' strategies are changing. Okay? The interactions between firms are changing. So everything is changing. That's why it's very hard to sustain a competitive advantage. Okay, and there are multiple factors that impact the performance. Okay, but basically we focus on cost and product differentiations. Okay, cost and product differentiations. Okay. Once again, I want to emphasize this: reduce cost, increase product differentiations, increase this gap between this, then you have a competitive advantage. Okay. Then two trends that impact this strategy: globalization and technology. These two trends are important because technology and globalization can reduce cost, increase product differentiation at the same time. All right, at the same time, that is important. Okay, so we just replicate the points we have made so far. Okay, clearly. All right. All right. Then number 3 and 4, probably not. And core competencies. Okay. So think about core competencies. Right. You reduce cost, increase product differentiations, but you still have very clear understanding of your core competencies. Actually, what are your core competencies? Why customers are looking for you? Why you create value? All of these discussions based on the understanding of your core competencies. If you have very specific core competencies, you should focus on. If your resources are not core competencies, you don't focus on. Okay. So we talked about cola, right? Coca-Cola. What are core competencies of Coca-Cola? You should identify correctly. Then you can set up your strategy appropriately. Right? So it is important. And also intellectual capital. Okay. These days, okay, more and more intellectual capital are important. Okay. So intestinally, we talked about that. Okay. So probably in this case too, we talk about what? Technology. All right. We don't talk about physical facilities or whatever. All right. So intellectual assets are very important. Okay. Then I just want to clarify, right, 3 levels of strategy in this case. Okay? So this case is all about business level strategy, one business unit. Okay, Apple and Microsoft. Okay? But Apple have several business units within the corporations. Okay? Apple and Microsoft too. Okay? So the first level, the highest level, corporation level. Right? Multiple business units. Where to compete? How to balance these multiple business units? Okay, business level, how to compete, and functional level and efficiency. Okay. All right. Anything else? Yes. I think it's enough. Okay. So, brief case, but important implications. Okay. So, any question, comments about the case? We just briefly talk about this case. So can I move on? Okay, let's move. All right, so we talked about all the topics already. Okay, so measuring competitive we talked about economic value, accounting profitability, and shareholder value. Okay, so economic value is this. Okay, V is the consumer's maximum willingness to pay. All right, this is price. This is cost. Okay, this is price. So V minus C. This is a consumer surplus. This is from profit. This is from cost. So if you have greater V and you have competitive advantage, if you have less cost, you have competitive advantage. This is the understanding of economic value creation approach. Okay, but it's not easy to measure this V. Okay, so we talked about that. So if the economic value created is greater than its rival's competitive advantage and competitive parity, competitive disadvantage. Drawbacks. Value is not often easy, right, to measure. Value may be widely varied from the best competitive advantage. Accounting profitability, profits. Okay, so we talked about that. It's a good measure, but snapshot metrics need to move beyond. Okay, so it's always looking backward. Okay? Also, profit is just numbers. Okay? The real numbers. But competitive advantage is relative numbers, relative comparison. Okay? So apple to apple comparison is very important. Historical data. So we talked about that. Okay. So backward looking. So there's no future perspective. Okay. All balance sheet items. Okay. Something like technology, right? Intellectual assets. Okay. In the accounting measures, there's not enough these items. Okay. Just focus on tangible assets. It is a problem. Okay. And also, okay. Book value and stock valuations. So this is a Q ratio, probably okay, not okay. So people also use this. I'm not sure your textbook is talking about Q value. Q value is simply speaking your the market value divided by the book value. Okay, market value, stock market value divided by book value. Okay, so if Q value is 5, that means market value is 5 times greater than the book value. So which is great, like Apple. Okay? A lot of technology evaluated by in the stock market. Okay? So Q value, I just wanna mention this because many people use this, but sometimes your textbook does mention about that. Okay. Shareholder value, market value, okay, the stock markets, okay? And stock price can be highly volatile. That is a problem, okay? And there are so many factors that impact the value of the company. So it's not realistic, okay, to measure. Okay, so we're done with performance measures. Then balance scorecard, okay. So there are many pros and cons. There are pros and cons of each measure of performance. Then balanced scorecard is something like the list of questions. The list of questions. Actually, these questions are categorized. Multiple internal, external metrics. Yeah. So it can be financial, it can be strategic, something like that. Okay. So in each category, you set up your own questions. Okay? Then let people answer this. Okay? Then you have weighted averages of these answers. So if your company is important, your customer is important for your company, then your customer category has more weight, okay, in this evaluation systems. Okay, so this is balanced scorecard. Usually, okay, balanced scorecard has shareholder side, okay, core competencies and value and customers and something like this. Okay, but these dimensions are actually, you can create these dimensions based on the situation you face with your organizations. Okay, so you have an example of this balanced scorecard in your simulation too. So we only use balanced scorecard in your simulations. I'm going to use it to evaluate your performance. Okay, so in the simulations, you just look at what are balanced scorecard. And based on this understanding, actually your strategy can be adjusted. Okay. So in the simulations, you search up what are the balanced scorecard. Okay, so advantages. Most strategic things. Communicate vision through the organizations. Okay. And contain better perspectives. Okay. But the problem is, these advantages are tools for strategy implementation, not formulations. Okay? Not formulations. And the problem is also there's no guidance. Okay? You need to create it. Okay? So there's no solid guidance because each organization has a specific feature, right? Specific dimensions of business, dimensions of performance. So it is not easy to generalize it. So you have to create a list of questions, categories, and something like that for balanced scorecard. It's a problem. Okay? So probably it is very, very helpful to have a better sense about balanced scorecard, okay, through seeing how your simulation is defining your balanced scorecard. Yeah, it will be very, very helpful. All right, triple bottom line. All right, financial, social, ecological consideration. You need to read by yourself. Okay, so it's very simple concepts. Okay, so you just read by yourself, then you will easily understand these concepts. Okay, so basically this your strategy should be balanced between financial, social, ecological considerations. Okay, that is the main story of this. Okay, so we talked about several approaches about the performance. So very straightforward. Quantitative and qualitative performance dimensions matter. Quantitative, something like economic approach, accounting, profitability approach, like a market approach. Okay, and qualitative, probably the balanced scorecards. Okay, so both balanced approach very important. Okay, and competitive advantage is based by criteria reflecting overall company performance. Okay, criteria, so multiple dimensions of performance. Okay, multiple dimensions. Okay, so based on understanding this, okay, so only better strategy exists, not the best strategy. Okay, based on multiple dimensions of performance. Okay, so always strategy is relative to others. Okay, better than others. Your performance is also better than others. There's no absolute value in strategic management. All right, that's pretty much about chapter 5, performance things. Then let's stop here. Any question, comments about chapter 5? Anything you want to discuss? Any question, comment about chapter 5, the measure of performance? All right, great. Okay. So I just want to make sure so everyone is in the same boat. Then we're gonna continue. We're gonna continue chapter 6, but I suggest 5 minutes break at this point. Then we are gonna talk about some of the business level strategy. It won't be long. Okay. So 5 minutes break. How about that? All right, sounds good. Okay, see you in 5. Okay, 5 minutes exactly. So I'm gonna see you in 7:20. 7:20. Okay, 5 minutes break. That's great. Yeah, it's smoothly going. All right, it's a 7:20. It's a 7:20, so we're gonna start very soon. Actually, we have talked about these cases, not this case, this topic again and again and again so far. So I don't have many things to talk about. You already knew this. All right, it's a 7:20. Okay. So are you with me? Please make sure. Let me start. Chapter 6. All right, great. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. All right, capital yes. Okay. All right, let's talk about chapter 6. Okay. So business level strategy. We have talked about this topic again and again and again because this is the most important concepts in the strategy management. Differentiation strategy, cost leadership strategy, and being stuck in the middle. We already do this. Okay. So this lecture, okay, today, okay, I just wanna make it clear, okay, the points, okay, what we have talked about so far. Okay. So if you have any question, and I'm gonna answer, I'm gonna discuss this. That's it. Okay. There's no new topics actually. Okay, let's go. Business level strategy. Okay. So business level strategy is how to compete a single business unit. The thing you are doing with the simulations. In the simulations, you have a single business unit, okay? A single market. And you decide your strategy, okay? Which market you will focus on. High end, low end, or what country's market, okay? What country? So you use just a single business unit. You decide your strategy. This is a business level strategy. Okay? All right. So 3 levels of strategy: corporation level, business level, functional level. Functional level, efficiency; business level, how to compete; corporation level, where to compete. Okay? All right. Industry and firm effects jointly determine competitive advantage. Yes. Okay. Think about your performance, competitive advantage. Okay. So we talked about external, internal environments, your industry and your corporations, your organizations. Both determine the competitive advantage. Industry effects. Okay. Think about that. We talk about Porter's 546 model. All right. So rivalry, for example, rivalry, you know, the level of competition is very high, your profit is what? Low. Okay. So this is the industry effects. Firm effects, your internal resources. Okay. So think about your simulations. You choose your markets. You get into. Okay. Then if the market is very, very crowded, very, very competitive, then you can predict your profit level is not so great. Okay. This is industry effects. Okay. In that case, your market is very crowded. What are you going to do? You choose it. You can find a niche market for better profits. Okay. This is strategy. That's why strategy is dynamic. Okay. All right. So strategic position, okay? So two things, you just reduce cost or increase value. Okay? Two things, you reduce cost or product differentiations to increase this gap value. All right? So we talk about this a lot. V minus C, V minus C. This is the value you create for your profit, for your consumer. Okay. All right. And so this is a strategy. Perform similar activities differently or perform different activities. So reduce cost or product differentiations. That's it. That's it. Generic business strategies. Reduce cost leadership strategy, and increase product differentiation strategy. Okay. Scope of competition is about market. Okay. Niche market or broad market. So it's a little bit different. Okay. So two generic strategy, differentiation and cost leadership. Okay. Then scope of competition, market. Okay. This is very important too. So you can have strategic position, cost or product differentiations, and market, narrow, broad. Okay. This is a focus, cost leadership strategy, differentiation, focus, differentiation, this is differentiations. Okay. So think about that in your simulation too. Okay. So the application of this concept into your simulations. So you focus on this differentiation strategy. Okay. So what are you going to do? You develop a better features of product. That means you invest more in R&D. Okay. Then you have better product. That means you focus on high-end market. Okay. High-end market, product differentiation strategy, and following decisions. Departmental or functional level strategy should be followed these big decisions. Got it? And cost leadership strategy. That means you reduce cost, okay? Not better product. That means what? You focus on cost leadership strategy. That means you focus on low-end market. Low-end market. Then you can reduce cost. Okay? You can produce more. Why? Because you want to reduce cost. You want to achieve the economies of scale. It's a following decisions. You see? There's a link, very clear link between these concepts we have discussed during the class and your simulations. That's why we say your simulation is the application of your implementation of your strategy. So think about your simulations at this point very specifically. Okay? You apply these concepts into simulations. Okay? Your simulation is implementation of your strategy. Okay? So your simulation, basically your job is very simple. Okay? Understand mechanisms, these mechanisms. Okay? So in your simulations, you should decide which market, based on the information available in the simulations. Okay, so customer-related information is very, very important to decide this. Okay? So you need to decide which market you will get into. Okay? Low-end market, okay, low technology market. That means what? You focus on cost leadership strategy. Okay? High-end market, high technology end market, your focus should be product differentiation strategy. Okay? So product differentiation strategy means your following decisions, your all the departmental functional level strategy should be followed consistent with this level. Okay? So for better features of product, better product. For example, you should invest more R&D to develop better features of the product in this strategy. In cost leadership strategy, there's a different, right? So you focus on reduce cost, okay, and low-end market, then your following decision should be consistent with this. Okay? So for example, to reduce variable fixed cost, fixed and variable cost, what are you going to do? You're going to do, probably you can try economies of scale. Economies of scale. You can produce more and reduce the cost, fixed and variable cost. These are how actually our discussions and simulations, the implementations are interconnected. So exactly we are doing the same thing, but simulations are just designed with some numbers, so you make decisions. Okay. But now, better understand? I just wanna make sure what you're doing. Okay. So better understanding about the simulations, the relationship between the concepts and simulations. Okay. All right. Great. Okay. So it is not easy. For some people, it's not easy to understand these connections. But if you understand these connections, okay, you will be much better to decide your decisions, to make decisions in the simulations. Okay, let's move on. All right, then probably we already talked about. I'm not going to replicate this because it's a cost leadership, the same things. Okay, I have talked about a lot. Okay. NES, I just want to clarify this. Minimum efficient scale. So economic scale, cost leadership strategy. If you produce more, you can reduce cost, fixed cost and variable cost. Okay? But this is NES. All right. Per unit cost is a reduced, and sometimes there's a saturation point, and there's no more the effect of economic scale. Okay, so this is NES. Okay, all right, then learning curves and experience curves. Okay, we talked about that already. Okay, so to reduce cost, economies of scale, and learning curves and experience curves. Okay, you just read by yourself. Okay, and you can understand this very easily. Okay? I'm not gonna replicate this. All right, integration strategy. So BUS, simply speaking, BUS. So reduce cost, increase product differentiations. You integrate BUS, try BUS. It's very risky. It is very risky because you are higher chance of being stuck in the middle. Okay. So in the end, you cannot achieve reduced cost. You cannot achieve the product differentiations. There's a big problem. We talked about that, right? In the case. Okay. So, but some organizations actually do this by globalization and technology things. Okay. All right. Then, dynamics of competitive positioning. So we talked about that in the case. So our external environments, internal environments, okay? And also our firm's strategy, positionings, everything's are changing because all of these factors, all of these components are interacting with each other. Okay? So everything's changing. So actually, competitive positioning is dynamic, not static. So there is some changes, something like this. This is a frontier line. Okay? This is a frontier line. Okay? This is a frontier line to 2005, 2010. Okay? So this is a differentiation and cost leadership. So look at this Apple. Apple was 2005. It was the frontier line and here, and that was here. So Dell was focused on cost leadership. Apple was focused on differentiation strategy. Apple keeps this strategy, and Dell moves a little bit here. Okay, moves a little bit here. So a little bit apart from the cost leadership strategy. HP goes this way. Okay? So that's always changes, okay, in the market. Okay? So you should understand this in your simulation too. Okay? There are perceptual maps in the market. All right? Perceptual maps in the market. Other teams, okay, have their own markets. Okay? Their focus markets. So you need to know this. Okay? Where others are located. So you need to know, oh, there's Apple, there's HP, there's Dell, something like that. Okay? In your simulation too. Oh, this is team A, team B, team C, something like this. Then, what is my market? You should decide it. Are you going to go this way? Here? No. Why not? Because I don't want to compete. If I have market here, probably this market is much, much better than this one because I can avoid direct competition. Okay. All right. This is how to find a niche market. Right. So in your simulations, all the data will be available where other teams are located. What are they doing? You need to see it first. Okay? Then, based on that information, you decide, find your own market. Oh, this is the lowest level of competitions. Look, this. I just want to get into this. Something like that. Okay? Then you will have better profit level. Yeah? All right. Oh, that's it. So basically, I use these two topics, okay, to connect with your simulations, okay, closely connected, because this business level strategy and performance are directly involved with the implementation of strategy, okay, your simulations. Okay. So I just want to clarify that, okay. Performance is multiple dimensions. Your simulation has multiple dimensions of performance too. Financial, accounting, balance scorecard, to something like that. Okay. So you need to consider these multiple performance measures. Okay. Also, you need to consider business level strategy. Reduce cost, increase product differentiation, and compatibility. Okay. This strategy can be applied into simulation too. You choose what strategy, cost leadership, reduce cost, or product differentiations. You need to choose it, okay, based on the information available in the simulation. Then, given these decisions, you can make the following decisions: functional level strategies, efficiency, okay, how to do marketing, how to do R&D, how to do HR or something like that. This is the flow of decisions you will make with the simulations. Okay? So this time you understand the concepts of performance, business level strategy, and also you practice how to implement these concepts and mechanisms into the simulation with some numbers, some setting with numbers. All right, the central idea of strategy management. That's pretty much about what I have for these topics. Whew. All right, any question, comments? I just tried my best to connect between these concepts and your simulations and today, okay? Because I want you to be better ready to start regular competition round. All right, that's it. That's pretty much about So, any question, comment? Okay, great. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Actually, you are doing great. You are doing great. Okay? So if you have any question, comments, anytime, just send me an email. All right, just send me an email. You are doing great. Okay? So be confident. Be confident. Okay. So we're not going to talk about chapter 7. Okay. So we'll continue chapter 8 and 9. Chapter 8 and 9, not chapter 7. Corporate level strategy. Okay. So if you don't have any questions, okay? If you don't have any question, comment, okay? And have a great week. And then you're gonna continue your simulation in the next week, okay? So I'm gonna see you if you want it. If you want it, I'm gonna see you on the video conferencing, or just send me an email if you have any question, comments, okay? I'm gonna try my best to respond, okay? So. Can I go? All right, have a good night. Have a good night.
Thanks, Dr. Khan.
Thank you, Ryan.